If you are a woman who has been watching my posts recently and thinking, God, you know, it sounds like you're crawling around in my brain, or that sounds just like my relationship, or that sounds like my past relationships, this is a message for you. I was sitting in the sauna yesterday and I just felt like this wave of emotion coming over me. I felt really, really emotional. And I was tuning into why I felt that on that particular day. And there were so many reasons, right? Like, it's been a really hard couple of months. Cam and I have both had some really hectic family stuff going on that has created a lot of emotion for both of us. But mainly I was feeling emotional for all the women that I've been speaking to recently who are still feeling like they're trapped. I think there's a big distinction between actually being trapped and feeling like you're trapped in a relationship at the moment. Been having lots of conversations with women who have been in relationships with their partner for years and being coercively controlled and really toxic, unhealthy dynamic, and just feeling really stuck, and also feeling really over it, but not necessarily knowing what to do. And I've really been reflecting over my last couple of months in life, and how one thing it's done is, you know, just brought Cam and I closer together. And this is the first really amazing, healthy relationship that I've ever had in my life, first and last. I just found myself thinking a lot about how it would have been if I'd been going through what's been happening in life with any of my exes, and just thinking I would have felt guilty for having to take an emergency trip home because my dad was sick. Would I have even gone? I wouldn't have had the money to go back then. You know, I was being financially abused, and I wouldn't have had the money to just drop everything and go home to be with my family, which is what, you know, why I've created my life in the way that I have. If I had the money and booked a flight, if I'd gone, I would have just been guilt tripped into feeling really bad for being away from him. You know, for you know, he would have done the whole poor me thing around, you know, I'm stuck here looking after your pets, you know, which were always pets that he wanted. It just would have been one massive guilt trip with an 8-hour time difference, which would have made it really hard as well. You know, just one big guilt trip around how it was putting him out. It just really makes such a difference to have a healthy, supportive, loving partner by your side when you go through the inevitable shit that's going to happen to you in life. Parents are going to die, friends are going to die, family's going to become unwell, you're going to become unwell. Like, there's going to be a bunch of stuff that's going to happen in your life that feels like shit. All of that's going to be tough and emotional, but all of it can be made so much less tough if you have the right person next to you, and also if you've got the right relationship with yourself, because the most important relationship you're ever going to have is with yourself. And that's something that I really emphasize in the work that I do with women and men as well. But, you know, it's really about starting with your own self-love journey first, because if you 100% love, honor, trust and respect yourself, what would you not be putting up with in your life anymore? Now, I know when I first asked myself that question, there was just a whole fucking list, a massive list of all the things that I wouldn't be doing, that I wouldn't have done in the past, the relationships that I would never have entertained, so many situations that I just would never have put up with if I had loved myself enough to have good boundaries, to not people please, to just live a life that is truly aligned with me, with the right people next to me and around me who helped me to be the best version of myself as well. Because in those past relationships, I definitely wasn't the best version of myself. I wasn't allowed to be. You know, I was too much if I was me. I also just shrunk myself because it was easier to. There was less conflict if I wasn't myself. If I just did what they said, if I you know, played smaller. The version of me that I am now is just my best self. It's my true authentic self, you know, which is different on any given day depending on what's going on around me, you know, but it's a version of myself that's much kinder, much more able to be much more loving, more respectful of myself and other people. I'm not a moody bitch as much. That's why I was getting overwhelmed with emotion yesterday. It's just really tuning into all those conversations that I'm having with women about where they're at, and I still very vividly remember those exact same feelings of feeling trapped and alone and isolated. And that's exactly why I created Project Self-Worth. We've got our first live group coaching call on Thursday next week, so coming up really soon. I'm really excited to get that going. All the ladies from last year are really excited to get the live calls going again. It's a sense of community, you know. that's one of the biggest things that you'll get if you do become a member of Project Self-Worth, is that sense of community and not feeling alone anymore. Even if you are feeling like you're trapped in a shit relationship, even if you don't know how that can change for you, even if you have no idea where to start, you'll have a group of ladies and me standing alongside you on your journey for as long as it takes for you to have your best life. If you've been sitting on the sidelines and you're wondering what it's all about, if you're wondering, will it work for me? If you're wondering, how can I afford it? Will I have time? Any of those things, just drop me a message and let's chat. Because there's always a way for you to make things happen when it's the right thing for you in your life. So if that resonates, then drop me a message and let's chat. I've got some space this week for calls before we get started. So if you're wondering about the program, whether it's right for you, then let's connect and we'll just jump on the phone, and no pressure at all. It may not be right for you, but I'd love to connect anyway and just see where you're at and how I might be able to help you. So wherever you are on this gorgeous Sunday, it's a pretty nice day here in Perth. Probably have to get in the pool later. Spent the morning going for a nice walk around the National Park, sat in the sauna for a bit. I'm off to go and see a client for the day, and yeah, drop me a message if this resonated with you. Big love, have the best day, and I will speak to you soon.